Hey everyone, what is going on? So we have more battles that I did, and I am using Galarian Stunfisk with double bug water in the back with Arachnoid and Galiciopod, and yeah, it worked pretty well. It was actually a fun team. So how's everybody doing today? Some bad news. I lost my job last weekend, so things are definitely going to get a little bit rough here. Hopefully I get another job soon. But yeah, I'm selling things on eBay. If you want to help me out, if there's anything you're interested in, the link will be in the description down below. Don't buy things just to buy things, but if there's something you would like, I'm selling TCG cards and other things, I would appreciate it if you bought for me. That would be incredible. Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford to spend any money or anything, other ways to help me is just watching, for example, the ads all the way through. That would help, right? Instead of skipping them. I know I skip ads, so I get it, but that's another way to help me without spending money. It just takes a little bit more of your time. But either way, as long as you guys hanging out with me, I'm still going to be bringing the videos, still going to be streaming as well regardless. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into these battles. So I did battle a team with the double bug water. I don't remember what was in the lead. It wasn't Galarian Stunfisk. But I've seen that team, and other people in the chat when I streamed this said they had battled Arachnoid and Galiciopod in the back as well. But again, I don't think it wasn't Galarian Stunfisk in the lead. It was something else. I just don't remember what it was. But no, this team worked out well. Arachnoid, of course, is really tanky. Galiciopod is not, but I think it works really well. I do like having that Galarian Stunfisk in the lead, so it can handle Registeel or other steel types like Bastiodon. You could go with a Registeel in the lead, but then you struggle more so against opposing Registeels, I feel like, because, well, no, I mean, I guess it's neutral, Registeel versus Registeel. But Galarian Stunfisk worked well for me. Bastiodon, you would most certainly struggle if you had that in the lead against Registeel for sure. So I probably wouldn't go with that, but anyway, yeah, this first battle is almost so. This is only the first battle, right? I've been rambling on. I think this is only the first battle, but I do go for the Earthquake, and even if my opponent got to a Focus Blast, it wouldn't KO me. So I'm going to be able to get off this Earthquake, which will KO the Registeel, and that is a good game. Very well played to my opponent. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into the next battle. Galarian Stunfisk into Swampert. Definitely a bad lead, but both of my Pokemon resist the moves in the back unless they have Sludge Wave. I do generally switch into the Galiciopod. I know this is a Hydro Cannon. I guess my opponent wants to throw the attack and then bail out, which is exactly what's happening. Now, here's the thing. Lock-On is not doing any damage to me, it's doing a little bit, but it's not like they can farm me down, so you could definitely win this matchup with the Galiciopod, and I really have to go for this matchup because I cannot have my Stunfisk on that Swampert, right? So I do have to flip this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and shield this attack up. Going to be a Zap Cannon as expected, right? That would easily KO me. They do get a debuff, but that's fine. I'm going to bait here now. So I do bait with the X-Scissor, expecting my opponent to shield because they also want to win switch, and they do shield, so I'm able to get to another X-Scissor. Now, I am debuffed, so I wasn't sure if this would be enough to KO. They actually let it go, and it is enough to KO, so fantastic for me. Where even on shields, out comes Cresselia. You love to see it. I do get off this Liquidation. Should I have thrown X-Scissor? Maybe. I went for the debuff chance because Liquidation does have that 30% chance to debuff. X-Scissor, though, is super effective. The Shadow Claws is super effective. Everything is adding up. Look how low I got it. Now it's in Rock Slide range. And then I have the Arachnoid, which I do resist all the moves besides Sludge Wave from Swampert, as I mentioned earlier. So, most of the time, I would say Swampert doesn't carry Sludge Wave. It is a possibility. But Arachnoid is so tanky. This is really good for me, and my opponent will concede. And that is going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent. Tough lead, but able to overcome it. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Okay, Alolan Ninetales. Good lead, but if it has Powder Snow, it's a little bit more tricky, and it does have Powder Snow. So I'm going to go ahead and overfarm. Make sure they don't catch, and I do get off the Rock Slide right now. This Rock Slide is going to be doing super effective damage, and my opponent actually does catch. I maybe shouldn't have thrown right away, but that's fine. Now, here's the thing. Azumel is actually tough because it does resist all the moves Arachnoid has, as well as Galiciopod, besides the Shadow Claw, right? I do go into my Arachnoid. Now, if they don't have, I don't know if they have Hydro Pump or not, so the Stunfisk doesn't really want to stay in. Plus, I kind of want that Stunfisk for that Ninetales, although, we'll see. It's Powder Snow, so like the backline does resist Powder Snow and Weather Ball, so the backline will do fine, like especially the Glaciopod against that Alola Ninetales, right? But they're throwing Play Roughs at me. I'm gonna go ahead and charge up and throw the X-Scissor right now. Let's see if my opponent wants to shield this. Does my opponent want to win switch? They do go down, so that is really good for me. Out comes the Ninetales. They throw an attack immediately. I actually survive a Weather Ball. It's going to be a Psy Shock. I actually survived that as well. Now out comes Medicham. Okay, so I could bring in my Glaciopod. Super effective damage with the Shadow Claws. I do throw the Liquidation again because of that debuff chance. It is a Crunch clone. And we do get a shield and we do get that debuff. You'll love to see it. So, yeah, Liquidation is a pretty good move. I'm happy with the move. They actually bait me with Ice Punch, which is not ideal, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for the X's, and now expecting the shield from my opponent, and my opponent is going to, in fact, shield. I shield this one as well. Psychic is going to knock me out, but it's actually going to be another Ice Punch. So nice plays by my opponent. I'm going to go ahead and throw the X-Scissor right now, just to try and get rid of this Medicham. I don't want to be hit. Well, yeah, I don't really want to be. I actually catch a Weather Ball. It wasn't an intentional catch. I just switched out just to try and get to a Rock Slide. Of course, I do survive another Weather Ball, and they do, in fact, get to another Weather Ball. But I should be able to get off my Rock Slide. I am at the Rock Slide now, as long as they don't have another Weather Ball, which they do not. This is going to be enough to KO, and that is going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent, and I'm going to be able to win that one. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Glowing Stunfisk into Azu. Alright, you could stay in this, but the thing is, like, do you really want to be hit with a Hydro Pump? I go into this thing just because it's really tanky. Out comes Greedent. So I should be able to flip this matchup. I mean, I do have the Bug Buzz, right? I'm going to be hit with the Body Slam. It really doesn't do much. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Bug Buzz right now. Not expecting a shield from my opponent. My opponent does not shield. Very nice. But again, even if I do flip it, Glaciopod still doesn't really appreciate going up against Azu. So Azu is tough for sure. They do get off another attack. I do survive it even though I was debuffed. Arachnoid is an absolutely bulky monster. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Bubble Beam. This should be enough to KO the Greedent. And they actually shield, and I'm able to farm down. So that's going to help me because I get the shield and I can farm down. Now I'm going for the Bug Buzz, and I do get the Bug Buzz. And it could go either way. Which one do I go in? I don't know what's in the back. So my opponent does farm me down. I don't know if they have Hydro Pump. So I think I come in. I come in with Glaciopod. Which I know what's in the back now. It's a Medicham. Of course, I didn't at the time. So I actually regret coming in with the Glaciopod. Because there's a Medicham in the back. No, it might actually be Scrafty. It's a fighting type. It's either Medicham or Scrafty. Maybe it is Scrafty. I think it is. But either way, obviously I would like to have this on Scrafty, not my Glorian Stunfisk. But I brought in the Glaciopod instead of this Stunfisk. So I'm going to go ahead and go for this Liquidation. And my opponent does get off an attack. I'm like, okay, at this point I didn't know what was in the back, so I'm kind of hoping that Stunfisk could beat it, and nope, it is a Scrafty, so I'm going to back out. So if I went into that Azu with Scrafty, things would be looking good, but didn't happen. So good game. Moving on, Swampert in the lead, tough lead, going to go ahead and switch into the Glaciopod. So my opponent is staying in. I did overfarm to see if they wanted to try and catch like a Liquidation on something else, and I do pick up the shield. And they actually switch into Altaria, so I guess they wanted to farm up and then switch out. At least I got a shield, though, right? Instead of them switching out right away. I'm kind of glad they didn't switch out right away. No debuff there, that's okay. I'm going to be able to get to another Liquidation, and then I'm going to try and get to an X's and see if I can. I don't think I do get to it. Yeah, I'm barely not able to. But it is in Rock Slide range, of course, so I'm going to be able to bring in my Galarian Stunfisk and knock it out with a Rock Slide and hope that Arachnoid can beat that, well, whatever's in the back in addition to the Swampert, basically, right? I think I want to charge up max energy here. And my opponent is going to go ahead and throw another Moonblast. I'm going to be able to take it with my Stunfisk. I don't charge up max energy, but I charge up quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this and then pivot out. Maybe I'll try and catch a Hydro Cannon if they want to throw right away. But they don't actually bring it in. They bring in Diggersby. I remember this. This was a crazy game. This was a crazy game. I don't know if they tried to catch a Bubble Beam or something, but they bring in the Swampert, and I'm hit with a Hydro Cannon. I thought I was going to lose this one just because, I know how bulky Arachnoid is, but I don't know, my main concern was really that, I don't know, I mean, having 2 Pokemon, and I don't want to shield that because I know I resist all the moves, so I'm going to go ahead and take that, and now Diggersby comes in. Diggersby is so tanky. Fire Punch is neutral. I'm going to go ahead and shield this attack. It's going to be an Earthquake. Actually surprised they threw an Earthquake there. Fire Punch is neutral. Excuse me. I was sick, and I still have a lingering cough. And so I'm going to go ahead and, I think, shield this. I do shield it, and it's a Fire Punch. Going to go ahead and debuff them. I'm just going to debuff them to debuff City. I'm taking them to debuff City. My treat. So they're going to be able to throw an attack. They are significantly debuffed right now, right? So it's going to be an Earthquake. You definitely want to throw Fire Punch there. The fact that they've thrown Earthquakes helps me. Helps me win this, to be honest, because I'm able to go for an Earthquake against the Diggersby. I'm going to be able to take this game. I feel like if they just do only Fire Punches at the Arachnoid because it is neutral, I think I would have lost that. But either way, good game. Moving on, okay, a Trevenant lead, not a Pokemon you see too often this season. But at least I haven't. I'm going to switch into my Glaciopod. My opponent, I know this is a Seed Bomb. They only charged up for it. It is neutral. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Still do a good amount of damage. It does a lot, actually. And now out comes Lantern. So I'll just spam out these X's. There's no way I'm going to win this particular matchup. So I'm just going to go ahead and spam these X's attacks. I'm going to go ahead and get off this one. And, okay, very nice. They do fall me down, but that's really all I could do. I'm going to bring in my Stunfisk. And my opponent is going to go ahead and throw a Surf. They did charge up quite a bit of energy, which is scary, but I'm going to go ahead and not take this one. I do shield it up. Now, a Rock Slide will not KO, so I actually throw the Earthquake, not expecting them to shield. Now, my opponent actually does shield, but I wasn't expecting them to, so good call there by my opponent. Do I let this one go? I do let this one go. It's going to be a Surf, and I'll be able to get to a Rock Slide. Now, Rock Slide would have KO'd, so I guess I should, because like the Mud Shots are adding up, so I guess I should have thrown the Rock Slide instead of that Earthquake and wasted all that energy, even if I didn't think they were going to shield. So Glorian Stunfisk is coming in. So out comes Trevenant. I don't know if they attempted to catch. Luckily, they were not able to. And I do get off my Bug Buzz, which will KO. So that will be enough to KO the Trevenant. You'll love to see it. So out comes the Glorian Stunfisk. And similar to the Diggersby, I want to debuff them and take them to debuff City. And they actually throw an Earthquake. So again, I don't know why. Rock Slide is super effective. I think it's because a lot of trainers are not necessarily familiar with Arachnoid and Glaciopod. They think Earthquake is neutral towards it, whereas it's not neutral, it's actually resisted. So here comes another Earthquake. Definitely want to throw the Rock Slides, my friend. Maybe my opponent realized that afterwards. But hey, you know what? It's not like I haven't done things like that before, so it's fine. I'm just saying. I think I do go for a catch. And if I catch the Earthquake, it's going to be better. But I don't. I guess they realize that they want to go for Rock Slide. But yeah, the fact that I'm actually going to be able to win this game is absolutely insane. Rock Slide is coming out. I will die to another one, but I do get to a Bug Buzz. Hoping that the resisted Bug Buzz is going to be enough to KO. Will it be enough to KO? Survey says it will be enough to KO. Good game. Crazy game. Yeah. And that's going to be a crazy game. A couple crazy battles in there. Able to pull it off. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.